The Roswell Police Department fired 2 of its officers today after an internal affairs investigation. They are on video using a coin flip app to decide whether to arrest a driver for speeding. The 11 Alive investigators were the first to break the story 2 weeks ago after obtaining body camera video of the April traffic stop. The video shows officers Courtney Brown and Christy Wilson discussing whether or not to write the driver a ticket or place her into custody. Ultimately, they did use that coin-flipping phone app and laughed about their decision. After 11 Alive started asking questions about that traffic stop, the department put the officers on suspension. And a short time ago, the city of Roswell told 11 Alive that after a preliminary internal affairs investigation, they have been fired. We'll have much more on this breaking news coming up at 6.